It's gonna be Messi.
It feels a little weird to pick Messi.
Every time the camera hits him, I hear cha-ching.
Let's get right to it. Let's give our teams of the mid-season.
Let's go. So imagine this was the end of season awards, but way too early. Okay,
Exactly.
This is the awards for up till now, so far.
Exactly.
So team of the season so far.
So just like some people search for old cars online,
Yes.
some people, they want to know, what do Cooligans think midway through the MLS season? Are we gonna show them on screen? We are gonna show them on screen. Shout out to Yahoo.
They're doing everything right.
They're doing everything
They're
right.
adding that
So
audio
we
in.
got to get Alexis's team of the season. So let's get right to it.
All right, so this is my 11. Pretty good, right? All right, so here's my starting 11. Now, this was not easy, okay, because there were some difficult choices, and some that I felt deserved the shout. So let's go with goalkeepers. I'm gonna go with Dane St. Clair, the most amount of clean sheets. The guy's killing it this season so far.
Minnesota in general are playing a very, very defensive game.
Yeah,
and I just want to give the shout out because they're basically not possessing the ball at all.
they don't want it.
They don't want the ball.
They're like you play.
you play soccer.
Yeah,
We'll watch you.
we'll watch you. And then when the moment where you stop playing soccer real quick, then we'll stop playing soccer.
And so to be able to do that against teams that do have the ball,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, that is a shout. To have 8 clean sheets is a good shout for Dane St. Clair. I get it.
Yeah.
Right.
So I look, right, you got to give them credit where they deserve it. So for the back line, I'm going with Antonio Freeman's son. Let's go.
That's his name.
Yeah. That's how I'm calling him. Now, Alex Freeman is a beast, and I think he deserves it. And he's one of those players where there was another player that I was going to put in here, and he didn't end up making it. So I guess I could say it in Ajimang, where I'm like, there's something about these players where I'm like, you stand out in a way that we're not really sure just yet.
Ajimang is obviously not in that position, but
No,
Ajimang
another
in general,
player that didn't make my 11.
Got it.
Where I'm like, there's something about you that's special. Alex Freeman did make it, but just physically a beast. And I'm like, there's something, once you really fully figure out this game, you're going to be unstoppable. So Alex Freeman makes it on of mine. Obviously, Tristan Blackman, I got Glesnes, Kai Wagner, quite possibly the best left back in the whole league. For me, Sebastian Berhalter and Diego Luna. Sebastian Berhalter, I know we're doing just MLS, but he's played so well across the whole beginning of the season that I think he deserves that shout. Diego Luna, I think, has taken it to another level, become much more of a leader. Team ain't doing so well, but I think he's really positioning himself as probably the next move out of this league as far as an American-born player.
Sure.
And then Lionel Messi, how do you not put Lionel Messi in there? Some people think maybe he shouldn't belong in there, and I get that. For me, I wedged him in there because he's Lionel Messi. I did not have him in the best 11. Christian Espinoza and Denny Bouanga, of course, and Ty Baribo. Bro, you've got the most goals in the league.
He's making it look easy.
Yeah, you're absolutely crushing. I'm happy with this. I don't know that there's anyone where I'm like, I wish, blah, blah, blah. I'm pretty happy with what this looks like. Hey, real quick question before you give us your best 11. Why don't you click on that like button right now?
Okay, I mean, you'll see the differences in my team of the season because there's just maybe you'll have disagreements with mine, but let's look at Christian Polanco's better 11 than Alexis's.
I think that's not the official name.
So
okay,
I'll start at goalkeeper as well. Yohei Takaoka for Vancouver Whitecaps. The Vancouver Whitecaps are having one of the best seasons that they've ever had.
Yeah.
And yes, they did get smacked in the CONCACAF Champions Cup final, but in Major League Soccer, they've been fantastic. And Takaoka has just one less clean sheet than Dane St. Clair. I think it's given how the team is doing, I think Takaoka deserves to be there. Alex Freeman, I agree with. Tristan Blackman, I agree with.
I also agree with your choice here.
Okay, the other center back, Justin Hack. This is
almost got into my team.
So I think when you look at the numbers based on compared to the other center backs in the league, it's not it's harder to make a case for Justin Hack, but Justin Hack is also incredibly versatile. He has played as center back. He has played as the sixth, the defensive midfielder. So
and he's really good going forward because of that. 2
assists as well, and playing in different positions. Every single game he's asked to do a lot. He can start the game at center back and finish the game in the midfield. So because of that versatility, that's why he's on my best 11 in
I know
mid-season.
you just wedged him in because we love him and we think he's a great player, and he certainly deserves to be considered a shout. But for me, he was a honorable mention.
Okay, that's fair. obviously Messi's going to be there because it's ridiculous to not put him there. Carlos Gil is, I think, a player who has stepped up on a team that didn't have a good start at all. And then David Acosta at the Timbers is, I mean, he's been fantastic. I think he has like 6 assists and maybe 2 goals, something like that. But he is a player that has joined the league and has been, the Timbers paid a lot of money to bring him in, but he's also just been incredibly dynamic. And you could, this iteration of the Timbers looks a lot more fun than even last season's.
I'm surprised that they look this
fun.
Yeah.
And the results, they're not super consistent, and maybe that's on Phil Neville a little bit. But
that's why I'm surprised. It looks
but the team itself looks great. Now, my front three, which this is not really left with. I couldn't decide on positions. I'm like, to me, these are the players that have to be in there.
Whatever, y'all try to score.
Yeah, you figure it out. Play however
yeah.
you want to play. But Brian White for the Whitecaps, just
absolutely
almost unstoppable this season. Been fantastic. Anthony also for the Timbers. I think he has like 5 goals and a few assists as well. Another player that again makes the Timbers just really, really fun and exciting to watch. And then also Ty Baribo. What the Union have done this season after Jim Curtin, which a lot of people didn't really know what to expect.
Bradley Carnell, bro.
Bradley Carnell has done a great job. So, yeah, that's my mid-season 11 in Major League Soccer.
Funny enough, the 2 Union players for me were the easiest choices.
Sure.
Kai Wagner and
they've always, for years, they've always been incredibly reliable. And Kai Wagner, it's interesting it's usually him and like Daniel Gazdag that are like the identities of the team. And Gazdag left and they haven't missed a beat.
Yeah. New system, new coach, new style. As much as we love Jim Curtin, I'm glad that it's going well for all of our friends that are Union fans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move on to some of the individual awards.
Right.
Most valuable, Landon Donovan, most valuable player.
Right. So this is, again, up in the season up until now, up until the midpoint so far for me, the MVP, because why choose anyone else? Remember,
okay, go ahead.
It's a vote, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna be Messi. So if I was putting money, just say it's Messi.
For the mid-season, it feels a little weird to pick Messi because he hasn't really. He didn't do what he did last season.
No.
They've had really long stretches. He has had really long stretches without like goal contributions. Really long, meaning like 4 games or something like that. But so it's odd because last season he missed a lot of games through injury, still won MVP. But this season he is playing in those games, and
he's not getting all the stats. But we have to decide, what do we mean by valuable? Valuable to the team, valuable to the league, valuable as in he's in the league and so the fans are watching, valuable in the sense that when he's on the pitch, defenders are drawn to him naturally and he creates space for everyone else. To me, it just doesn't make sense to say anyone other than Messi. And I don't care if people think like, oh, it's hack or whatever. He's just valuable in every shape. Every time the camera hits him, I hear cha-ching. So as far as I'm concerned, he's the most valuable.
Yeah, there's not much we can do to change your mind if that's going to be your barometer.
I understand the argument for someone else. Who do you have?
I have Ty Baribo.
Makes sense. That's fair.
Just again, the what he's bringing. 13 starts, 13 goals, 1 assist. The numbers are better for Messi, but it's looking like just moving forward that he's just going to be an important part to almost every single goal that is scored by the Philadelphia Union. And I had seen
he's on pace to what, like score 32, like to break the record, right?
I don't know.
We have to look at basically. I mean, he's got one. He's got a goal per start.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I had seen an interview, I think one of the post-game interviews or something like that, and it might have been like Weeby or somebody asked him about his ambition, like what goals does he have for the season? And he's like, I want to win the Golden Boot. And I think they were asking him like, well, like how many goals do you have it like in mind every season? And he's like, there's a certain amount of goals I have in mind. And they're like, all right, well, how many is it? He's like, I'm not telling you. Like, it's just like a little secret.
Why would I tell you that?
Just a little secret. personal number. But he's been fantastic. Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, all right. How about coach of the year?
I went with Bradley Carnell. How do you not have him in as your coach of the year? And
Sure.
I'm saying that because I know you picked someone different. For me, I mean,
you have to be a complete idiot,
Yeah,
stupid dummy.
numbskull, which I know is the term you haven't heard. But again, look, a 10-4-3 record, just for the fact that Philadelphia Union, we talk about this all the time, the job that Jim Curtin did without, the money, without the ability to go out and get more players, without the ability to just spend in the positions you need to have to build a better team with just the ingredients you have. We're seeing Bradley Carnell, someone who, after his stint at St. Louis City, I don't know that I would have really trusted him with another team. And he seemingly has found that other piece, that other level that was missing in his time in St. Louis. He's found a way to make another team look really, really good. And it doesn't feel as erratic as it did. It feels like there's an adjustment that has been made. And for me, there was a couple coaches that first shot, and I think you picked one of them that I was really considering. But for me, I mean, with what Bradley Carnell has done, considering what he has available to him, absolutely incredible.
I would argue Bradley Carnell has more tools available to him. He walked into a project that wasn't chaotic, right? The Union they weren't winning, they weren't winning and getting winning trophies and stuff like that, but they were in a good, the foundation was there.
He walked into a project that got stale. The guy you picked walked into a project that was already doing well.
I don't really agree with that. They were doing okay. It was like they were promising signs, but this season, so my selection,
which I don't think you could say about Philly towards the end, but go ahead.
Was Jesper Sorensen, coach of the Vancouver Whitecaps. Again,
remove CONCACAF Champions Cup from your brain.
Even without that,
MLS.
Without that, it's still incredibly impressive what he's been able to do, and just in a couple matches and losing. They traded or they didn't re-sign Fafa Pico, and still players stepped up in those roles. Ryan Gault's injured, and they look fantastic. So
and from what Sartini did, to be able to build off of that is really, really impressive.
100%.
I almost picked Jesper Sorensen as well. But for me, Bradley Carnell, I think, walked into a situation that I think we all thought would be way more dire this year than he's made it.
Maybe, but
that's why.
The Whitecaps went from the last
playoff
spot, or like second to last, to being in first in the Western Conference at times and stuff like that. So that, to me, that's an incredible improvement. All right.
Still got in the playoffs.
Next up, newcomer of the year.
Why don't you go first on this one?
Okay, so for me, I'm gonna go with of San Diego FC, Anders Dreyer,
killing it, especially the beginning of the season.
Yeah, obviously, newcomer of the year to a new team, to an expansion team, and so look, 17 starts, 6 goals, 7 assists. I mean, for a new player, obviously he's a DP, but just for somebody new to the league and making this much of an impact, even from the first 2-3 games, you're like, oh wow, he's a lot of times it's like adapting to this league and blah blah blah. And he's just like, all right, no, I know. I not only adapting to the league, adapting to a new team that players who they played for 6-7 weeks together for the first time, and so I think what he's doing is remarkable. So he's my newcomer of the year so far.
I love it when you sign a player and we're like, who? And then he shows up and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
That's what you saw. And that's exactly who I picked as well, another San Diego FC player. But I went with Jeppe Tverskov. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I believe it might be Jeppe. But, I mean, this guy's a defensive midfielder. Look, he doesn't have all of the stats in the world, right? He's got 2 assists. He's got 37 interception, which leads in MLS, which is great. And that's all impressive. But for me, it's like when you watch the game, this is the type of player I like to watch. Someone who absolutely shuttles in front of the back line, shields them from any other stuff coming towards him, and then he's able to take that ball and spring the attack. That, to me, is the type of player that belongs in MLS. We talk about the types of players that we don't always build as a nation, that maybe these TAM and GAM and all these other functions should bring us. It's guys, to me, that play in the midfield, like Maxi Morales, right? That's not the type of guy you're going to find in MLS academies all the time.
Sure.
This guy is exactly what I'm talking about when it's like that. You don't find a player like this that has that innate ability to just be able to protect the back line, stop every attack that's coming, and shuttle the ball forward. He makes San Diego tick. and it's really fun watching them. And I really love this guy. So for me, he's my newcomer of the year.
All right. Yeah. Look, again, what San Diego's doing is quite impressive, and most expansion teams don't have this level of consistency. They might, you might have like the St. Louis's that are like, whoa, what is this? And then reality has some the
playoffs,
in
rough,
the playoffs,
bro.
and then the following season. All right,
But we'll see. Mikey Veras is proving something to me that I didn't think.
you
had.
got to give credit to San Diego because like the scouting, because like you just said about
Moneyball,
we were talking
baby.
about Anders Dreyer, like there's a lot of like, who is it? Who?
Yeah, from
and,
Copenhagen, I believe.
and then it's like, oh wow, okay. There's leagues I'm not watching that they have good players.
Well, I believe he was on Nordjylland, and Nordjylland is like one of those teams that like is Moneyball, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So for them to go get him, I'm like, all right, he must be doing some XG stuff I don't know about.
All right. All right. Goal of the year so far. We've had a couple decent ones.
I'm gonna go with Kevin Denke's bicycle kick.
Okay.
To me, this was not easy because I'm not one of these guys that remembers goals. So this was a little difficult
You
for me.
don't remember goals?
I don't like remember that goal that week against this guy. I don't remember that kind of stuff. That doesn't. I got so much guys. I got 1984 Buicks on my brain.
Your mind is full of.
But
other stuff.
this was a goal that I kind of remembered, and then when I looked it up, I was like, oh yeah, this was fire.
Yeah.
So this for me is like one of those moments where I'm like, it's against Sporting Kansas City. They were able to keep a clean sheet, but this goal right here, just the setup of this bike. Look at this.
I mean, it's
perfectly hit.
It's a proper bike, right?
Seriously, bro.
And then I
also that's when we found out how jacked this man is.
no forward needs to be this strong and muscular.
You ain't. When you see like a picture of a guy like performing at a concert, and you're like, you ain't got one song that needs whatever it is you're doing here.
Right.
That's this, bro. You spending too much time in the gym, bro.
It's his traps.
It's
bro.
Everything, man.
He looks like Bane. That's what I'm saying.
100%,
but
bro.
What stands out is the traps.
Yeah.
Why are your traps so big, dog?
The chesticles, dog. You be putting up big dog weight. I can fend what can't do this.
Why you need a super, is it for the headers?
Bro, you protecting your neck for when you land on them bikes, bro.
But no, that's a fantastic goal this season. All right, I have...
what you got for me?
I went in a different direction.
Let me hear what you got.
I went with the boy, Jack McGlynn of the Houston Dynamo, former Philadelphia Union man. But he...
Yes.
I was going to say boy again. I'm like, I don't want to use the word boy too much. But no, this is something we're getting, we're sort of used to seeing. He's done this for the national team. He's done this a few times for the for the Philadelphia Union.
It's in his locker for sure.
It's in his contract. They're like, bro, you gotta give us a couple of these.
Man, you haven't hit one of them.
I don't know about the celebration. He did the
Paulo Dybala and Jalen Brunson.
And Jalen Brunson, a little combination.
Isn't Jack McGlynn from New York?
He is.
Oh,
maybe. So maybe that's what it is.
Maybe he's a Brunsonite like me.
I love the Brunsonite. It's a new religion. Get on board.
We meet in the playoffs.
Okay. Well, Thibodeau's.
He's no longer there. He's been excommunicated from the church.
But Jack McGlynn has, he's done this for a long time, even though he's a young guy, and so. I love bicycle kicks. They're lovely. But for what Jack McGlynn's able to do in the Eastern Conference, Western Conference, at the international level,
matter where you put him.
I mean, he's banging these balls in.
He would do this in the SEC conference, bro. It doesn't matter where you put him.
Pac-10? Don't let Jack in there. He is. It's one of those things where you know what he might do, you know what he's capable of, you cannot stop it. I mean, I'm not gonna go as far to say that it is a Lamine Yamal level of type of shot or consistency, right? But it's wild how
when it works is great.
And again, for such a young player to be able to do that, and also often take the shot. It's also not a thing where he takes the shot that often where he misses so much. You're like, Jack, again? You really need to do this? No, it's like when he does, he has a very good chance of scoring.
When he misses, you're like, oh, wow.
Well, okay.
As opposed to the other way around. Yeah.
So that goal, in the Texas Derby was fantastic.
Very nice. What do we do save of the year?
Okay. Give goalkeeper some love.
Yeah, this also was one of those things that's not always on the top of my mind. So for me, the one I remember specifically was in Houston. Bond saved that super long, midfield shot, running back. Whenever you see this happen, I'm always shocked. I'm like, bro, how you got air going backwards? So you're watching him now get stuck in the net. And though when they replay it, it's absolutely crazy. Just where the shot when someone looks up and sees the keeper that far away and takes the shot, it's because the keeper's pretty far away. Look at how far this is. This is from the logo. For him to be able to make that save is crazy.
Yeah, this was against FC Dallas.
Yeah, FC Dallas.
And was this the same game? I don't think so.
No. This is
FC Dallas against Houston. Yeah,
it was against Houston, but
I wonder if it was the same game as the other.
It'd be
goal.
hilarious if it was.
But Jonathan Bond, because these are usually, especially with the goalkeeper falling in, these are usually the embarrassing moments.
Right. When you're pulling the net out of your boots, you made a mistake.
And who?
But not this guy.
Anderson
Julio.
It says, oh, was it Anderson? What was the name on the back of the shirt? Oh, it was somebody else, I guess, clapping. So, but an FC Dallas player is clapping. He's just
damn.
like, hey, you
you got that one.
Good on you, bruh. But no, fantastic save. Okay, good one. For me, I went with friend of the show, Stephen Fry. Stephen Fry. I've been on the show a couple times, and this is just a fantastic save. And this is also one of those saves that looks like it's a simple one. This is against Seattle against Houston Dynamo. Dynamo is just heavily featured in all this.
We love you, Dynamo.
But Stephen Fry is been doing this. How long has he been even just with the Sounders? 40 years, give or take.
Seriously.
But this is a free kick. Dorsey, I believe, gets his head on the ball, and the ball's coming at a rapid pace.
And his momentum is going in the opposite direction.
Exactly. So he's taking a step because he thinks the header might.
And he's getting up there in age. So for him to be able to do this and not blow both hammies at the same time is pretty great.
Yeah, Stephen Fry has been just one of the most reliable goalkeepers in MLS history. Obviously, we know, our first MLS Cup that we attended in Toronto had the legendary save against Josie Altidore, the header, that the classic picture. And this is kind of another, just again, the diving
similar
save.
Yeah. His hand will always find a way.
So shout out to Stephen Fry, always just bringing the heat year after year. Okay, we're going to take a quick break because we got to get to, there's a couple other midseason awards that we got to get to. Young Player of the Year, Best Moment, Biggest Disappointment.
We got to come up with a name for these awards. The Cooligans.
The Cooligans. All right, sounds cute. They should be like tiny.
It feels like something you could pet for some reason.
All right, we'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody. We got to talk some MLS, but before we get to that, just another reminder. I teased it a couple of days ago on the other show, but the June 14th Gold Cup opens. Who's playing in that first game?
I believe you're wearing a kit right now.
La República Dominicana, Dominican Republic is
Santo Domingo.
DR is playing against Mexico to open the Gold Cup. It's the first time that Dominican Republic has qualified for the Gold Cup.
Yep.
And I'll be.
What are you thinking fan-wise? About 50-50 DR to Mexico?
Yep, so far. Yo, I need all my California Dominicans to step up.
All 8 of you gotta get loud, bro.
Okay, I need you. Bring your secret family to the game.
Yeah, all side pieces. You gotta get tickets to everybody.
You need to let all the wives know, all the girlfriends. Yeah. Yo, we gotta put all our differences aside now.
Put them in different sections. You know what I mean? You gotta bounce around.
But no, June 14th, that game is happening. But in New York, in Washington Heights, I'll be hosting a watch party for the game at the Hudson. The game kicks off at 10 p.m. Eastern time. So if you're in New York, if you're a Dominican, you know a Dominican. If you're in New York, you know a Dominican.
You might be Dominican without knowing it.
You might be Dominican. All your exes that don't call you, that don't text you back.
Remember that toxic dude who ghosted you? Now text him again because he's gonna be there.
Let him know to come through. So it's opening at 7 p.m. Kickoff is at 10. It's gonna be a party. The leading goal scorer, the leading joint goal scorer right now, he is retired, but Jonathan Fania will also be in attendance. Played for a bunch of Dominican clubs. He played in Panama. Just an absolute legend of Dominican international. Really is one of those first faces of like, oh, this is our guy or whatever. So
he walked so you could run. Is that the way it is, or is it he ran so you could walk?
Vice versa. But in
walks
soccer, you do run. So yeah.
All right, whatever. The good one.
So come through. The Hudson in Washington Heights. The address is 378 Dykeman. Come through, bro.
Yeah,
It's gonna be a really, really dope party. And if like I said before, if there's anything, who knows how DR is gonna do? I expect a 3-0 victory, but you know, I could be disappointed. But even if that isn't the case, it's gonna be a party. There's gonna be music. There's gonna be jerseys. That's also another thing. A lot of people they see me wearing this jersey. They're like, "How do you get it? How do you get it?" I'm like, I had to go through scout for DR to get it.
Seriously,
they're so impossible to get. So they're gonna be on sale at the event, so you can get your own Dominican Republic jersey at the watch party. So please come through. It's gonna be dope. It's put on by the Dominican Federation. Denos is the organization putting it on as well, hosting everything. It's gonna be dope. So it's gonna be music, drinks.
We love Caribbean soccer, and this is a huge opportunity.
Dominicans
to represent
and soccer just uniting.
And the Cuban Federation is doing a watch along at my mom's house. It's next week.
So it's gonna be lovely.
It's baseball practice, not even soccer. But if you guys want to come to that,
you want to Yankees preseason.
yeah. It's what players can we get on a speedboat?
All right, let's move on to Young Player of the Year in Major League Soccer. Go first, Alexis.
So there's a little controversy as to whether I'm allowed to choose this player.
That's right.
Because he was last year's Young Player of the Year. He's still young. He's still a player.
He's not younger. So
no, but he's still under the cap. You have to be 23 years old. He is 23.
I believe it's 22.
You have to be 23 years or younger. And he is 23 years and like 4 days. Or 47 days. So he's allowed. I'm going with Diego Luna, who I absolutely love. I put him in my best 11. I think he's one of those players that has gotten to the next level. There's something about this guy that we don't find in a lot of American young players. There's a grittiness to his style. You almost think he was in an academy in Argentina, the way he plays.
Sure.
And the way he's like, broken nose, I don't need it. Tattoos, give me 17 more.
Tattoo a nose on my nose.
Yeah, hell yeah, bro. A non-broken nose on my broken nose. He somehow looks 31 and 23 at the same time. I love this guy, Diego Luna. But for all the stocky dudes out there, bro, thank you for doing what you did.
Okay. Well, all right. I mean, to me, this pick shouldn't even count because of the age that he is and that he won last year.
He's 23. We said the rule for young player was 23.
I believe it's 22, but I could be wrong.
Carter said 23. I'm going with 23.
All right. So
Carter gave me a thumbs up. You can't hear that, and it sounds like I'm making it up. But he has a microphone in front of him. He refuses to use it. He gave me a thumbs up.
All right. For me, I went of the Chicago Fire, Brian Gutierrez, the attacking midfielder, who is an important part to the Fire for the last few years that he's been playing there.
Triple G trusts him too.
Yeah, an important player for Greg Berhalter. 5 goals with 10 starts and 1 assist. He did get a red card against NYCFC, which was a little unfortunate, little elbow to the face, but
made it better for NYCFC though.
It happens from time to time. But he is a player that I think has a very bright future. He's the penalty taker for the Fire, and it's how. And I think he's 20.
To get trusted at that young of an age to be that guy.
A lot of responsibility, and he owns up to it, and he carries that well, that leadership role well at such a young age. So he's my Young Player of the Year, and
nice.
And maybe in the future for the national team, we'll start seeing a little bit more for him.
He's another one of those players that I think has a future outside of MLS.
Okay,
yeah.
Which is, I mean, that doesn't mean that MLS is a bad place you can have a good future in MLS.
No one, I didn't suggest that.
Alexis, it's just that the little microaggressions. I don't know what those are about.
All I'm saying is when you move on, we'll release it. You're not gonna. It's like I'm telling a friend, like, I don't hate you. I don't hate your girlfriend. I'm just saying it seems like you guys fight a lot when we go out for wings, Let's move on to the next one.
Best moments.
Okay, this was kind of a ridiculous thing to ask because I'm like, what is that? What does that even mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is this best game? Is this like you pan in the crowd and you see like a dad crying and hugging his son? Something you and I have never witnessed personally, you know? What does that exactly mean? So as I thought about this, I thought, you know what? For me, like the best, something that's not one specific play. So I went with Galese with his Gallese with his 8 saves to beat the Chicago Fire and keep a clean sheet. That to me felt like an overall moment. It wasn't a goal. It wasn't an assist. You know what I mean? It was like a thing that happened that we can't really categorize elsewhere. 8 saves is crazy. It's not 16 like, Tim Howard had, but to me, it was like, all right, that stands out. It's a good moment where I'm like, bro, this guy's a brick wall.
Okay, not too much of a complaint there. For me, it was, and best moment to me is just like a combination of like either some drama, feel good moment, or humorous. Like anything kind of can be in
like,
there.
When you get French fries and you look in there and there's an onion ring, you don't know what it is. That's a great moment. How do you categorize that?
There's no necessarily an award. There's no mantle or plaque.
You point at my guy. Hey, thanks for looking out for me, my guy. He's like, what? I don't even know what you're talking about.
I just thought this is relevant only to this, but I saw this video on TikTok of a girl talking about how she went to like a chicken spot and she wanted all flats.
Yeah.
And
which is the move.
They were basically like, oh, no, I don't think we can like promise that or whatever. And then when she got the bag of wings, there was 9 drums and 1 flat. And she was like, why? So it's like, because I asked.
Yeah.
Now you
get the opposite. I think a Latin mom was in charge of the fryer that day.
The pettiness.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, you're going to make me like individually pick out the flats? All right,
then
fine.
you get none of them.
I'm going to individually pick out the one you do not want. Anyway, best moment for me is the Philadelphia Union completing the comeback against LA Galaxy.
Bruh.
LA Galaxy were up 2-0.
You just putting your foot right on them, bro.
And the reason this is the best moment to me, it was just because, again, the drama, the heartbreak. We wanted, I think even Union fans were like, I mean, let them
have this
maybe
one.
A draw, like they can get
yeah.
something or whatever. But the fact that it was like, nah, man, we're gonna
somehow you found a way to really
we're
collapse.
Gonna kick you while you're down.
For real.
And it just that moment in itself was entertaining.
No wonder you said drama and humor when you.
It was. I mean, there's comedy to their failure to some degree, and they finally did get their win. The honorable mention that I didn't put on here was Albert Rusnak scoring a penalty for the Sounders and taking off his shirt, throwing it into the stands, celebrating, whatever. And there's still a lot of time in the game, but he throws his shirt in the stands, and then Christian Roldan has to go to the fan and be like, yo, he needs that back.
Yeah. Yo, we're kind of still using that.
We're not done.
We'll get you another one, bro.
But it's such a, I mean, I understand taking off your shirt, but you can't throw it to the crowd.
You really hype for a penalty if you do that. That's crazy.
So that was my best moment. All right. Next up is best kit. Oh, no, sorry. Biggest disappointment.
I mean, then LA Galaxy.
Yeah, I mean, that's
what are we talking about here? Biggest disappointment. How do you go from winning MLS Cup to this? We've talked about it ad nauseum. For me, LA Galaxy has been the biggest disappointment this season.
Sure.
Hopefully they turn it around because I'd love to see them in the playoffs. I think it's one of those teams that they're a marquee member of MLS. Some would say the biggest club in MLS.
I mean, speaking of moments, if again the Galaxy get to the playoffs, you saw what Sasha Kleshman said? He said he would shave his head. If
he said he would shave his head and dye blonde, so I don't know how you do both.
He's talking about the pubes? Or?
Yeah, hey, buddy, we're gonna see the Sasha and the question. Damn.
So
how good is that green screen technology y'all use?
So, but that would be wild if they did. Okay, so the biggest disappointment for me, and it's probably easy to pick the LA Galaxy, but for the sake of debate and just conversation and moving forward, Atlanta United to me is a very big disappointment given the amount of money they spent, given the support that they've had for years. Obviously, to go from winning the MLS Cup to just whatever this kind of is right now, where it's just like everything.
It feels very purgatory-ish.
Well, but the bells and whistles are there, right? Like they look like they should be a dominant team.
You got to put it together,
and they're not putting it together.
No, and there's something about Miggy where I'm like, damn.
Yeah, I mean it's Miggy. It's Ronnie Dyla, it's kind of everything. Like just everybody's been underperforming, and given the amount of money that Arthur Blank has put into this team, that's where there's clear disappointment.
There's also a sense of indifference from the fan base, and that
which shouldn't
is like
be
the
case
last
for
thing we
them.
would
Yeah,
expect.
it's just like there's
It's crazy how
they're
long
too
ago it was, but
lively.
in 2018 when we went there for MLS Cup and All Star, I couldn't explain to you. I'm like, this is like, you know, Red Star Belgrade,
sure.
the fan base. You know what I mean? And now it's like it feels a little ho hum, and that's a real what an absolute
usually
fumbling of the bag by this front office.
Usually with teams that underperform, the crowd, you see that in the crowd as well. They're like, less people show up, less people are interested, and I don't know. Maybe this is did Atlanta United fans get spoiled with the early success that they are still holding on to the fact that they won an MLS Cup and had a lot of really great season and really great moments, that they're not holding the team's feet to the fire as much? I don't know.
Or maybe it's just this is part of a new, you know, soccer fan base, right? Like now is like, all right, now it's great when everything's going great. You guys have all these cool chants and these cool marches. Now is where you got to call the front office hold their feet to the fire.
Sure. All right. Yeah. Let us know what you think. Best kit.
Let's do best kit
in MLS. I'll go for me, the Seattle Sounders. I love this the Salish Sea kit. And I think what I appreciate, I love the color to it. And you know, we talked about this, I think, in the beginning of the season, but there is a you know, the shirt that you can wear anywhere. That's kind of my barometer. And
you think this is a casual shirt?
Yeah, it's subtle. It's dark. If you wear it with like some dark jeans and stuff like that.
What were those hoodies that like white dudes who played hacky sack would wear?
Those hoodies, like,
you know what I'm talking about? Ones? They look like they're carpets.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Like white dudes who would dreadlock their hair would wear them. This kind of reminds me a little bit of that. Like, yeah, you can wear it casually, but like people would be like, oh, like the print reminds me they're some Southwest.
Right. This is like I think
it's tribal.
It's like indigenous.
Yeah.
So but I love that, and I love that. And Seattle has always well represented. I think the indigenous people, especially in the Pacific Northwest. So this is
there's something about this where like it's a little there's too much going on for me to feel casual. But sometimes you can push that boulder over the edge, where it's so busy that it actually works. And that's my favorite. That's my best kit of the year so far. And that's RSL's checkerboard kit. Because
solid choice.
Which, look, yes, it's a lot. And you'll see it on screen here in a second. It's a lot. But it's so much that it's like not a lot anymore. Does that make sense? Like, remember when I first told you I have an idea for a name for our podcast? Cooligans. And I didn't say it, but in my head I was thinking, oh, it's so bad it's good. And your first words were, wow, it's like so bad it's actually good. I'm like, yes, that's this kid. Like it's so busy that it's not anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love the clarity on the sides. First of all, it gives you an hourglass figure, right?
Yeah,
which
I know
boy
you
needs.
You desperately been searching for years.
I actually might just stretch that to be flat, to be honest with you. But to me, this is one of those kits where I look at it and I go, not many clubs would do this, and it's absolutely amazing. I don't know. It's supposed to be the city. Apparently, their city's a grid. No one knows.
Well, this is how we learn. Thank you.
We're the ones with the grid. Nobody knows you.
Thank you for expressing and showing us your culture, RSL. No,
you could have showed us so many other parts of your culture. Thank you for sharing this one. But I think this is a bang up job by them.
All right, so well done so far. So mid-season, that is our votes. We're gonna talk some USMNT and US Women's National Team right after this, everybody.
Hey, we're back. Cooligans. The Cooligans are over. We gotta get better musical entertainment next year for the Cooligans.
The red carpet was nice though.
It was. Ooh, step and repeat. Who are you wearing? So let's talk a little bit about U.S. soccer in total, right? Let's start with the men's national team, which has a Gold Cup coming up. There's a little bit of adjustments going on here.
Injuries.
Yeah. Hey, none of the starters want to play on this team, bro.
It's people. Are they faking the injuries to get out? Mauricio, I'm real. I caught something.
I got this thing. Bro.
I need to be out for 3 to 5 weeks.
Yeah, doctor says I need to be on a yacht because of the air. It's because of the fresh air. So it looks like of the list of people that are not going to be there, obviously we know Christian Pulisic is not going to be there. We know Weston McKennie is not going to be there. It looks like now Folarin Balogun is out with a knock. Sergiño Dest is the most recent not going to be there. And what is going on, man?
Yeah, so Sergiño Dest, I think, is the biggest surprise because we thought we were Pulisic not being there, Weah not being there, but it's like, oh, but Sergiño Dest is gonna be back. This is gonna be his opportunity to really get back into the national team at that right back spot.
A player that we desperately need.
Yes, and they basically came out with a statement saying that they are basically sitting him so that he can rehab and train on his own individually to get back in and ready for the next season. So
this is the last competitive tournament before the World Cup because we've essentially already qualified, right? Not essentially, we have already qualified because we're one of the hosts. So as upset as I am that he won't be taking part in meaningful matches before the World Cup, at the same time, I kind of also agree that maybe not risking it, maybe fully letting him get healed up so he could have a really good club season and walk into the World Cup at his best is probably the right move.
Sure. I hope for the best. I mean, I'm kind of 50-50 here. If he was on the roster and playing games, I wouldn't have been like, you're playing him too early. I would assume that if he's there, he's ready to go. But clearly they don't feel that way.
So then we have to assume he's not ready, or at least he's at the point now where maybe overextenuating circumstances or overextending his injuries would be bad. All right, so as I'm fine with that. There is Yunus Musa is also not going to be there, and I know he's most likely going to be searching for a new club. It seems like he's out at AC Milan. I think overall the conversation needs to be had of like, come on, man. Like, I get it. There's good reasons for all these guys not to be there, but like it feels as if this is not maybe a priority.
It does. I mean, it makes it difficult to get excited about the Gold Cup. I mean, it's already.
Well, I mean, I kind of want to see some of that. We had the list of the roster. If we can put that back up, I'm excited to see some of these names get an opportunity with the national team. And some of the stars that we know of and love are going to be there, right? Like a Gianni Cardoso, who's rumored to be making a move to Atleti is going to be there. Like,
right.
I'm excited to see that. Obviously some other big names.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, look, we can just go through this is the final list. Obviously, Chris Brady, the Fire goalkeeper, Matt Freese, Matt Turner, Zach Steffen injured.
Yeah.
So I believe Chris Brady was the one who replaced him.
He's recently been added, but this gives a good opportunity for Matt Freese to get an opportunity.
Yeah, so we'll see. Max Arston, Alex
who almost made my best 11, Max Arston, by the way.
Nathan Harriel, Mark McKenzie, Tim Ream, Chris Richards, Miles Robinson, John Tolkien is the replacement for Sergiño Dest, which that's a bit of a shock. His team gets relegated in Bundesliga. He didn't have as probably the contribution that he would have wanted. He would, I'm sure, but now he's going to be into Bundesliga. So a bit of a surprise here, but realistically there aren't that many solid American left backs available to, that are
get
like
that
good,
green card, Kai Wagner.
good enough to be on the national
and
team.
Walker Zimmerman, who comes in for the injury, he was an addition.
Yes.
After, but a great center back.
Yeah. So I mean, all the other names are pretty.
Well, let's just
familiar.
go through it because we've already started.
Okay.
So Brendan Aronson, Tyler Adams, Sebastian Berhalter, Johnny Cardoso, Luca De La Torre, Diego Luna, Jack McGlynn, Quinn Sullivan, and Malik Tillman. Great list. Malik Tillman having an outstanding season with PSV. He's the name that I'm excited. And then obviously for your forwards, you got Paxton Aronson, Patrick Agimang, Damian Downs, and Brian White. And Brian White, a player you put on your best 11 as well. So there are some names that are worth watching to see how they sort of develop.
It is, but this feels like, one of those like Saved by the Bell, the new class. Like
wow.
Like
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm 22.
Just one of those, there's going to be a lot of new faces.
This feels like
the chemistry. I don't even know what the chemistry is really going to be.
Remember ICC tournament? Like the first 20 minutes, you'd see the stars. You know what I mean? Unlimited subs. This is who you see start the second half.
So look, I'm hoping for the best, but I think with the dropouts of certain players and resting certain players.
Does this create opportunity for some of these players to maybe shine and get a chance at the World Cup?
This creates opportunity for Dominican Republic to win the Gold Cup because they're not bringing the A squad.
Right? And Dominican Republic is bringing the A squad.
The Kilo K squad.
Yo.
So, no, look, yes, we're going to be watching these games. This is why when we had our predictions about Gold Cup, I said if they make it to the semifinal, I think they
still have to be a final.
But because of what this roster looks like, I'm just like,
I grant you, and I don't disagree. But I'm gonna say The standard needs to be, especially when Mauricio Pochettino out here saying that, hey, man, some of the players that are coming in from MLS are at the same level as the ones we're getting from. Well, then if that's the case, my guy, win.
I mean, I give credit to Pochettino. Pochettino's kind of doing what Emma Hayes is doing for the women's national team, and she's bringing lots of new people, lots of new names. There is
unearthing some real talent,
right? So, and then Paxton Harrison is also another pretty big shock. He had a fantastic season at FC Utrecht, and for that to get acknowledged, and to be on this roster with his brother, So I'm there's certain players I'm expecting a lot from, and I if it works out, I mean, great. But if it doesn't work out, which is what I'm expecting,
right?
I'd be like, okay, well, this is what I expected. So we'll see.
Christian, I asked you, do you think any of these players might get a chance to at least shine enough to put themselves in the conversation for World Cup? I'm going to ask you that about the women's national team now, because Lola Bonta, friend of the show, got her first call up.
Yes.
She didn't start, but when she's come in, she's impressed. She's a little up there in age for a player we may consider.
She is the oldest.
Yeah.
Two-star.
It's hard to consider that because she's also the tiniest.
Right.
She's a pocket mom. But is this the type of player that you think can work their way into the Women's World Cup squad?
So the only thing I think against Lola Bonta is her age, because by 2027 she would be about 34.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, watching her in these two games, I loved what I saw.
Hold on. Before you say that, let's go with, do you think she gets another call up?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you think she could maybe potentially start at that next call up? Because I do. I think she's shown enough where you're like, all right, I don't know based on her age if you're going to get a full 90, but I think she'll get a start or two. If that's the case, then I think the signs are she will get a call to the World Cup at the very least, because she's a great locker room person.
Sure. And then the TikTok content has been great as well.
I mean, what are we talking about? Plus just goal celebrations.
Shout out to the Thompson sisters as well, that are just doing the best dances on TikTok and then go out and just kick ass on the national team. But no, it reminds me of an old, I remember Patrice O'Neal talking about this in comedy, that in comedy, there are people that it only works of one of two ways. There are people that get things too early that don't deserve them, and there are people that get things too late that deserve them a long time ago. And Lola Bonta is the latter in that scenario. And but
she's also like refined her game to the point now where the pass that we were talking about before that she made to Lynn Bayandolo.
Yeah.
Moments like that, maybe she wouldn't have done if she was like 23.
Sure. And there's something.
She sees the game as a veteran now.
But that's the thing, is like she walked onto the team, she gets on the pitch, and there's no. If you're 22 years old and you get that opportunity, you are nervous. You're nervous to make mistakes. Yeah. You're like, oh, I don't want the coach to be. What does she have to lose?
Nothing.
She's just like, yo, this is who I am. I got the opportunity to play here.
She's talking to Emma Hayes like, yo, remember cassettes? They don't know nothing about that, bro.
VHS? Those kids don't know.
Walkman? They don't know nothing about that. Remember when you couldn't move the CD player because it might scare?
She's doing New Edition dances.
Paula Abdul joints out here.
Remember Cool Cat?
Damn. She knows your Saved by the Bell reference.
Right. So that's what I loved. Look it up, children. What I loved is watching how she was reading the game while she was on the pitch in both games. She checking her shoulder all the time. This is a veteran presence on the
very much so.
Over and over and over. And she made a fantastic pass in the game against Jamaica to Lynn Bayandolo, and where she made outside of the boot pass on
Travella's a pass, bro.
Caught Lynn in stride. And as I'm watching it, she's 32 years old, and I'm watching it like it's my 12-year-old daughter. I'm like, just do well out there, honey.
Save passes,
save. Because you don't want to. Don't look. This is how I know we are just in different levels, because she is just. She made that pass, and as she made the pass, I'm like, I said it to the TV. I'm like, Lo, don't do. Oh, okay.
Oh, never mind. Well, pleasure to meet you, Lo.
Well done. Okay, I'm sorry I doubted your game. But she, So as far as potentially being at the 2027 World Cup. I think she, even in just these 2 games, yeah, maybe she may not start in these games, but the veteran presence, the knowledge of the game, and still the ability to take those chances, and it's like she played with all these players for years. Like that was the coolest part, that she just did not look even slightly uncomfortable in both of those matches. So yeah, so shout out to Lo. We're huge fans, and it's great to see her play well for the national team. It's a long overdue and incredibly well deserved. All right, and the last thing, Becky Sauerbrunn.
The ring
one thing we wanted to talk about that. She got honored at the game against Jamaica. We saw Thierry Henry leave a nice video message. And you see it was also her birthday. They gave her a birthday cake. All the players sang her happy birthday. She's also with child. She's having a baby.
Crazy.
One of the great moments was Caterina Macario, as they, I think the TNT crew or US Soccer or somebody gave her onesies for the baby, and Kat Macario did not know that Becky Sauerbrunn was pregnant. As most people, we did not know.
This is how I found out. Yeah,
and the face, or maybe we can get it, we can add it in post, but the face Caterina Macario was just, she was like just in absolute shock. Because it's odd for the entire locker room to know and you don't.
Well, she plays in Europe. Maybe she's not in the group chat.
Exactly. But no, Becky Sauerbrunn, we'll wrap up the show here. But yes, Becky Sauerbrunn and her getting acknowledged and honored is obviously incredibly important. But she is a player that doesn't get a lot of the headlines and never really did, even while winning World Cups and things like that.
But super consistent and a soldier, bro. When she was on the pitch, you knew you were consistency would be
exactly and
automatic.
It's one of those Virgil van Dijk, when we think about a player that's like, you look at the heat map and they don't necessarily look like they're all over the place.
Don't tell you the story.
The stats don't tell you the story. That's what Becky Sauerbrunn very much is, and just tenacious. Read the game incredibly well, and is the reason why there was a lot of success, especially the last 12 years for the U.S. Women's National Team. So wait
17 years and a few months, and we'll have another Sauerbrunn back on the team.
Is
it a girl? I don't know.
We'll keep an eye out.
Let us know.
So shout out to Becky Sauerbrunn. Yeah, she's hopefully we can get her on the show one day. She's also a really, really cool media personality as well. So Carter, put in the call. Send the emails you gotta send to. Why isn't Becky on right now?
Becky.Sauerbrunn@yahoo.mail.com. Just send it, see what happens.
Nobody else email that email. Just Carter.
Just Carter. Sorry if I should have not sent that.
Disregard. I know some people were like, maybe I should email, but do not do that. And we know everybody who listens to our show is a very good person. And is going to listen to our instructions. So, all right. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in to another banger of an episode of the Cooligans. A reminder,
the Cooligans. You got to be a part of the Cooligans.
Exactly.
Someone design a trophy for us.
What would the Cooligans look like?
Well, I guess an award. It's not a trophy, right? It would be an award.
An award, yeah. But the statue,
like the statue.
What would it look like?
What are the players that have won a Cooligan? What will they be handed? Please,
let us know. Either send, comment with if
you got a 3D printer, make it. If not, just throw a little design or a little sketch together.
We'll give you our PO box. You can send us all your concepts.
You could come and hand us the first Cooligan. How about that?
We'd be honored to receive it. All right. But as always, make sure you follow us everywhere at Soccer Cooligans. Follow us on Blue Sky. Subscribe on YouTube if you haven't yet, and hit the like button if you didn't. If it took you this long to finally do that,
bro, right now hit the like button. I don't care if you did it already. Do it twice.
Okay.
You waited long enough. You recharge your batteries.
Okay.
Your hips feel comfortable again.
We'll be back. Okay. Anyway, all right.
Wow, when he doesn't do anything
we'll
with it, that's
be back
crazy.
on Monday with a brand new episode. And yeah, we obviously have we'll be looking forward to Gold Cup and a lot of these other tournaments. A lot of stuff for the Cooligans in the summer that are going on. So be on the lookout for all of that stuff. As always, you can join the Patreon, patreon.com/soccercooligans if you want to join the Discord. And we'll be back on Monday, everybody. Take care. Peace.
Love you guys.
Yes, that is international football. USMNT, U.S. Women's National Team. But some people might be interested in Champions League, okay? And we did a little Champions League perspective that you can click on right here. See how all the Champions League teams did and what to look forward to.
And if you want to subscribe, click over my face. It should be right here. Do you see it? Where is it? Is it following me? How good are we at that?